Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I will talk about a new topic which was presented on the WWDC 2024, and it's Swift testing. So let's start. So as an example code, as you can see here, I created a calculator class which has some basic functionality like adding two numbers, subtracting two numbers, multiply and divide. And it's basically just to have some logic we can test. And on the right side, you can see an empty test file. And yeah, with Swift testing, it's fairly easy to create our first test because Apple added a macro. So what I just type is add test. And then you can see I get two snippets here, one test function with traits and a normal test function. For now, I will start with a normal test function. And then I can give it a name. So I would say test add two numbers. And then in the test method, I can perform my test. So what do I need? Because I want to test the calculator. So let's create a calculator. Calculator, it's a calculator. And now I could say result equals calculator dot add 1 and 2. And now I want to test if the result is correct. So what I need here is the expect. That's new. In XC test, you have to say XCT assert equals or assert nil or not nil or stuff like that. With Swift testing, you just need hashtag expect. And then you can add a Boolean condition here. So what I can say here, result equals 3. I can save it and then run the test. And as you can see, test succeeded. So just for verification, I add 1 and 1, and now the test should fail. Yeah, perfect. So that's the first test. The second test we can do is a test, for example, divide numbers. And here I could do the same, instantiating a calculator. But I can do it a little bit different because I basically need in every test a calculator. So what I can do, I can wrap test functions into a suite. And that's basically just wrapping it in a struct. And I would say calculator test. And just surround it here. And save it. And now you can also see in the navigator, I get a suite calculator test and with the two tests inside. And what I now can do, I need a calculator in every test. So I would just move it inside the struct outside the test method. Then I don't need it here and I can just use it. So I have direct access to it. And basically for every test function, I get a different instance of the calculator. So it isn't reused or something like that. It's created every time for every test. The test functions can run asynchronously and in parallel. So that's important. So dividing two numbers, what would I do here? So for example, I could say let result, or I can just do expect and say calculator dot divide, and for now is 6 and 3, and it should be 2. Save it and run the whole suite. Everything's green, it works. Now I would also maybe test a side or edge case, and I say this time if we divide things, we should maybe divide numbers 1 by 0. So basically I would say that shouldn't be possible because you can divide by 0. So what would I expect? I would expect the condition when I say calculator.divide 6 by 0. At the moment, the divide function always returns a double. So, but that's a thing I won't do. So basically what would be a good test, that's not allowed, dividing by 0. So I would say that should be nil. I would expect that I get a nil, not nil here. And then I have to adjust a little bit the code. So then I would need an optional double as result type. So let's run only that test. It should fail correctly. And if I click on it, then I get also the new output from swifttesting, and it says expectations fails, calculate divide 6 by 0 is infinite and not nil. And if I go to show, then I also have the additional, I see what parameters come inside and what is the result. So let's fix the production code. So what would we do here? So we could say we could guard the B. So we could say we check the B if it's null. So we can say B shouldn't be null, shouldn't be 0, else we return nil. So we go through the guard if it's not 0, and then we can divide it, else we return nil. If we rerun the test, it should be green. Yeah, because we now get nil. Okay. Now we have 3 tests and now some specialty for Swift testing and differences what we can do. So in XC-test we need a test underscore for the methods. The cool thing is in Swift testing we don't need that anymore, so we can remove it. Yeah. And rerun the tests and check if it's still working. It's green again. Now sometimes the test naming could be hard and everybody names it differently. So Swift testing also provides a method to give it better names here. So we could say we open a bracket and then we can give it a string, and we can say I want other description for the test, and I would say add 2 numbers. Save it. And as you can see here on the side, the description changes to add 2 numbers. I will do the same here. Divide 2 numbers. And here I can say divide by 0. And here the test changes. What you also can see here is the text section, which is empty. That's another thing we can do, because we can add here, let's see if the code completion works. We can add arguments. Let's see, I think it's .text. And then here we can add text. The code completion doesn't work like as expected. So let's do it the correct way. We can define our own tags, and that basically works as follows. And we create an extension on tag, and then we can say add tag, and that's a static let. I can type today static let edge case, for example, edge case, and that's self, because it has to be a tag by itself. And with that macro, we extended the normal tags with our own. And now we can say, I want to add tags and my edge case 1, this one. And when I save it, then you can see the tag gets displayed here. And the cool thing is I can tag test methods in my whole application and can group them via tags. So for example, if I have a lot of edge cases and I just want to test the edge cases, then I can say here, I hit the play button on the tag, and then only the tests with this specific tag gets executed. It's a little bit hard to say to see here, but it is like that. So I can define my own ones with the extension. What else can I do? I also have the possibility to do parameterized tests. So for example, if I want, let's do it for the adding two numbers. If I don't want to edit 1 and 2, I want additional ones, but I don't. In XTC tests, I would have maybe created duplicates of it and rename the function for it and change the values here. But that leads into a lot of testing code, which you don't want to have normally. So we don't do that here. We use parameterized test. And how we can do it is we just provide within the function, we could provide parameters. So for example, we say A is a double, and I also give it a B a double. And what I also want to inject is the result I will expect, and that is also a double. And now I can add, I get an error here because now the test macro expects some arguments. And what I can do is now I can add arguments here. And the arguments are basically an array. And now I can add tuples with that 3 parameters with A, B, and result. So the first iteration should be 1, 1, and I'm adding 2 numbers, then I expect 2. And let's add some additionals. Maybe check if the order matters or something like that. I could add what I want. Let's do another one like that. And now we have to add, of course, the test itself. So we want to add A and B. And let's remove this here. And let's say the result. So the result of the add function should be the result which we are injecting into the test. So let's move that a little bit, make it a little bit larger so you can see. And now I will rerun the test. And as you can see on the side, the test add 2 numbers was executed 4 times and everything is green. I can tap on one of the tests and then I see which arguments came in, which were used. And let's try to add a failure in here, rerun the whole tests. And then you can see only 3 were executed. Let's clear the testing results for now. And now you can rerun the whole suite and see if it's still failing because I have to correct it. So the result should be 1. Restart it and now it should be green, and that flashing here. And now I had a crash on Xcode 16. Okay, great. But anyways, that was all I wanted to show you about Swift testing. It's basically some of the key methods, key features which were introduced. So basically just a quick recap. You just need to add test macro on any function to execute it as a test. And with the hashtag expect, you can just expect a Boolean value. So everything is already integrated. You can check numbers, strings, results of functions, whatever you could imagine, it should work. And you don't need special assert functions for it now. So yeah, maybe I will dive deeper into the testing purpose and testing framework, what you can do with it. But I just wanted to provide you the basic functionality in this video. So that's it for today. See you next time. Bye bye.